Malc the Fat Kid are back once again. We are heading down our final month. And what a great better way to celebrate our buddy friendship than to look at buddy films.
You gonna punch me in the face there for a second? I was like, what?
Yeah, it's a different kind of relationship.
It's a love-hate relationship.
So yeah, we took a look at two buddy films. I picked one, and of course Fat Kid picked one. Let's start with you, Fat Kid. What did you pick?
Alright, well, most of the traditional buddy movies are always cop movies. And I was like, I don't want to do a cop movie. You know me, I like to do different things.
It's a fair point. I mean, what else was left? Cop Out, 21 Jump Street. We have all
Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys, you know. You got like so many, and it's always like cop movies.
Yeah.
Yep. The Other Guys. I mean, it's like everything's always like a cop buddy movie. And I'm like, I don't want to do a cop one. So I went with something different. I wanted to take people that you see in a lot of different movies, not just in like this like movie. And there's sometimes you see these two people in the same movie. I went with Paul, which has like a whole bunch of different buddies build up in that whole movie.
Written by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who really are fantastic as far as writing and the dialogue between two friends.
Yes. I mean, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Paul, World's End. I mean, they're in a whole bunch of different types of movies together, and they work so well off each other and everything like that. And I mean, they each have their own thing that they do too, so it's not like they only do movies with each other, which is also a great sign of how like good their acting is. Nick Frost was the Steve Carell character of The Office over in England.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and you know that was out before the U.S. version. We kind of like assimilated it. You know, and he's been in some movies. Simon Pegg's been in movies. Like recently, the release Star Trek. He plays Scotty.
He did a fantastic job, by the way.
Yep. You know, and
get down.
And those two guys, when they work together, the chemistry is just awesome. And I'm like, those are my guys I'm picking for my buddy movie, because you know they're not like the whole like one way and the other one's the other side. Like in all the buddy movies, you have like Bad Boys. You got Will Smith's character who is like has money, but he does the job because he wants to make a difference. And he doesn't have a family, and he doesn't have this. And then you got Martin Lawrence's character, which has the family, doesn't have the money, and all this, and they're great friends. They never have a buddy movie where the buddies are the same. It's always like one's one side of the coin, the other one's the other side of the coin.
Exactly, because odd couple dynamic, ho ho.
But you know, with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, their characters are always the same. They might have slight similarities, slight differences, but overall they're the same. Make.
Yeah, which makes them very relatable, because that's a lot of times between friends, that's the case. You guys are very alike.
Yeah, and it's such a great movie. I mean, you have their relationship, then you have the relationship they build up with Paul.
Cat.
Yeah, the relationship that a cat builds up with the humans, yes. You also have, the relationship Paul has with Jason Bateman's character. You also have the buddies there, the two lower ranked investigator guys there, who are like kind of like the goof troop of the movie.
The goof troop.
It is. I mean, like one scene when Jason Bateman finally sees who these two guys are when they bring him in, they have a roadblock set up and they're playing hide and seek.
It's a fun film. For those of you who haven't had the privilege, this is Natty, by the way, she's very tenacious, who haven't seen the film, it's...
I'm a ninja.
Nick Frost and Simon Pegg play two friends who are from England. I know, a bit of a stretch for them.
Yeah, I know, right?
And they come to America.
And they pull off the accent amazing.
I know, right? It's very believable. But after going to Comic-Con, because why not, they go on the next part of their trip, which is to go to all the famous alien sighting places in America. And while driving across in a nicely done RV, they stumble upon Paul, an alien from outer space, who's voiced by Seth Rogen. And something I gotta mention right off, the special effects for Paul himself are actually fantastic.
Yes.
He looks very real, which is especially scenes where they're like interacting or hugging.
Yeah, you don't have like that weird like overlay that you see.
Yeah. But not only that, the interactions between Paul the alien and the friends and everyone is very good. Very realistic, very true to human beings.
Yep.
And they also, another great thing they managed to do through the writing of this, they managed to put so many Easter eggs and homages to other classic sci-fi, but it doesn't come off as like bludgeoning you with them. You know, it just it feels like, haha, I got that one. Like some of them are just lines that you would have to really know the source material before it would even get to you. But the movie is littered with them, and it's really good.
Oh yeah, and, you know, and it's great. And like I said, everybody in that movie, the way they tie it all together is so well done.
Mm.
I mean, you have movies where you see people who are supposed to be friends, stuff like that. You don't see any kind of interaction and stuff like that. Like with Jason Bateman character and Paul, they're friends, and you wouldn't know that throughout the whole movie until near the end. And you don't see it at all. And then, you know, and then when they come together, that's when you see it and you're like, oh wow, you know. And it just goes to show you that like Jason Bateman's character works for the people who are trying to capture Paul.
I have to say, I really enjoyed Jason Bateman.
He is like, he's like Betty White, all right. When he was younger, yeah, he was in was it Step by Step?
What was it, Hogan Family?
Yeah, the Hogan Family, you know. And that series ended, and then he like vanished.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he came back. I think it was with Hancock, but he came back huge.
Yep. I mean, he was in Hancock. He's in Paul. He's in The Change Up with Ryan Reynolds. He's in
Arrested Development, most famous.
Arrested Development. You know, there's so many things. He's just like exploding now, and just like Betty White. You know, nobody knew. Like Betty White was in a whole bunch of things when she was younger and stuff. But now she's like solidifying herself as this huge, like movie person in so many different things, and it's just weird how like people can like start from something so small and just come from there and just explode later on in the career when you think they're gone.
Yeah, I would dare say that Jason Bateman, in my opinion anyway, is the best straight man in comedy right now.
Yes.
Yeah, he does the job fantastically, and everything he does in here, especially at the end, it really plays off really well.
Oh yeah, and his mannerisms and everything like that, and you know that's another thing I always have a problem with when you see somebody in like certain positions, certain things, they don't have the mannerisms that you know they're supposed to have. Like one thing I've always brought up is when people have guns and they're supposed to be like a tactical team, you know, and you get the guy walking in front and like. Some movies they actually do it where the guy's got the gun and he's like this. Some of them the guy's like got the gun kind of like aiming down a little bit and like kind of like looking around like this, not ready for anything coming at him. It's like, okay, one, he knows there's something going on and he's just like, alright, something's around here. But and you'll have other cases where the people you see actually look into the role where they're got the gun, they're ready and they're moving around and they're always ready. And his character as he portrays in this, you can see he actually enjoys the character. He got into the character, and it's great when an actor does that because it makes it more believable. It's easier to come off as if this is what he's supposed to be doing, and it makes it more enjoyable to actually watch the character do that job because you know you're not like, oh, like seriously, come on.
Now you own it, so
yes.
Obviously you recommend it. I don't own it, but it's not due to dislike for the film. It's one of those plethora of movies where I like it and it's on the list, so to speak. If you see it in one of the bargain bins at Walmart, or even if you just see it, it's worth it. It's hysterical. All right, and now it's my turn with a movie that's near and dear to my heart. One that I would dare say I've watched like probably several hundred times, and I found out the same with you too.
I think almost anybody who lived in the 80s watched this movie like till death.
Mm-hmm. The movie, which in my opinion anyway, was the archetype or the blueprint that you study for every buddy film, and that's Lethal Weapon.
Yes. One
of my favorite movies, and I just wanted to... I was really looking for a way to sneak a review of it in here. But for me, I just love it. The dynamic between Danny Glover and Mel Gibson Especially, it's best if you watch the entire course of all 4 movies, because they do a fantastic job of showing the character grow. Like, you see Griggs from the first movie to where he has evolved to essentially what Murtaugh was when he first met him into the last movie, and just watch the relationship of theirs, bloom to not just the relationship between him and them, but between Riggs and Murtaugh's family and so forth. But just watching it, it's you genuinely feel the connection there, and I'm a sap. I love movies like that.
And Alien Development is such a great movie. It is, but one problem I have with it is they get along too quickly. Let's look at this, okay?
Okay.
So, first time Danny Glover sees Mel Gibson pulls out the gun. Glover's like, gun! Mel Gibson flips him over. Now, they're all cops in a police station. Mel Gibson flips the dude over, and he's seen him sitting in a chair in an office. Flips him over on the ground and points a gun in his face. I'm sorry, you're going to tell me that's my new partner? Yeah, that's what I want watching my back. Some dude that flips me over and points a gun in my face because I'm a stupid idiot anyways.
But to be fair, Murtaugh was trying to tackle him.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
But let's be realistic here. If you're going to bring a guy into a police station, you're going to frisk him, make sure he doesn't have a weapon on him to begin with.
He could have stuck at him.
Yeah. He's Mel Gibson. He was Mad Max before this. You never know what he's going to do.
He was Mad Max before.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, and so they talk about this whole trust thing, and so all right, Mel Gibson does save Danny Glover's life, but if you watch the scene, like, I don't know if you noticed this, but I didn't notice it until tonight. When the guy pulls the gun on Danny Glover, Mel Gibson grabs his arm, still pointing at Danny Glover, looks at Danny Glover like, and then he struggles with the guy to get the gun away. So there's like 10 seconds where the guy could have shot Danny Glover. He's like, and then Mel Gibson's like, It's like he looks right at him like, this is happening right now, and it's like, oh, you saved my life. And the funny thing is Danny Glover's like his character shoots the guy in the legs, and he's like, oh, you shot me. He's like, let me see your hands. I want to see your hands. And he's very adamant about seeing this dude's hands. And then he puts his gun away before the dude even shows him his hands. Like, okay, well, I'm done with this. It's like, wait a minute here. The dude didn't even show you his hand yet. And you're like, oh, whatever. And so then right after that, it's like, so, come meet my family. It's too sped up.
I don't know. For me, it felt like the right pace. Like, granted, if this was a TV series, it would be even better. Then you have like all the time in the world. But okay, you can see what she's trying to do. Sorry, folks.
She's a camera hog. But no, I mean, I understand. And later on, when they're together, it's awesome. Because you have it. But that's the only gripe I have is how quickly they brought them to like that point.
Yeah. I mean, it took Joe Pesci 3 films to get there.
And he was such a great add-on to that franchise.
They all were.
I don't know about Chris Rock. I'm sorry.
I knew you were going to bring up Chris Rock.
They all were. I don't know about Chris Rock. What's his name?
Butters, yes.
Yes, not to be confused with Butters from South Park.
Yes. That's Butters. That's me.
But no, I mean, they did such a great job with a lot of the cast in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, granted, you got Mel Gibson, who now is like... But also, let's look who else was in that movie that's one of the main people. Gary Busey.
Mr. Joshua.
Yeah. And it's funny because you see those two and it's like, they're both kind of the same right now. They left that rocker a long time ago, if you know what I'm talking about.
Except one has an entertaining Twitter
handle. Could you imagine what would have happened if Gary Busey was the Mel Gibson character and Mel Gibson was the Gary Busey character?
Oh, God. I really don't want to this is one of those instances where, he's become a dickhead now, yes, but at least in this movie, he's not.
Right.
This is pre-dickhead.
But what would have happened?
I don't know. I don't think Gary Busey had it in him to be Murtaugh. I mean, I could see it, Riggs. I mean, I could see it definitely in the first one, but you take the Riggs character from 4 and have him played by Gary Busey. No, it doesn't work.
No, but I'm just saying, it's one of those things like you look at their personal lives where they are now, and they're almost the same. What would have been different if they were the opposite characters? But no, I mean, like I said, the only gripe I had is how quickly they made their friendship like this huge thing.
I don't know. I mean,
come check out my boat. Oh, da 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 and da da da. It's like what?
Well, it makes sense to me because we're gonna go into spoilers. The movie is like how?
Oh my god, 1987.
Spoilers. But after all this, the whole blunt of the beginning of crux of the story of the beginning is that people don't know for sure if Riggs is crazy or not, or if he's trying to get pension, or if he really wants to kill himself. And it's after an incident with a jumper that Riggs...
Not to be confused with a jumper who can travel through space and time.
No.
That was a good movie, though.
Very good. Where Riggs is literally about to kill himself until Murtaugh, the names, till Danny Glover pulls the gun away from him, and that's when he gets accused. Oh shit! I should lay off this guy. I think that's all that he was trying to do. It wasn't. I think they did a good enough job explaining. This is not him saying, "Oh, you're family now." No, this is him saying, "I'm gonna back off you because you are seriously gonna kill yourself if I push you." So that's how I took it.
Right. But yeah, and it was funny because we were talking about it. And I don't know how many people out there know about this other movie called National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
No, you're going to bring this up, huh?
Well, it's funny because this is like one of the... National Lampoon was always a great series. And I think this is like one of the very first spoof movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I can't really think of any movie that like spoofed another movie. Ricky.
As a spoof. Lesser known spoof about Rocky.
But was it like a mainstream movie?
Yeah, Ricky 1 is the name of is the full title of it.
Huh. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, well, it shows you how well it did.
But no, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, which is like a complete ripoff of Lethal Weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Emilio Estevez, who plays Mel Gibson's character, and Samuel L. Jackson, that plays Danny Glover's character.
Oh, now, on paper, that sounds awesome.
And the main villain in it is William Shatner.
Once again, on paper, that's awesome. I should rewatch that. It's been eons.
I mean, you got Tim Curry's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy's in it, Dennis Leary.
Oh God.
And they have such a huge cast in it of people back in the day, and it was like, it's a movie out there that you think that they would like. All right, well, they did a really good job with this one. They're gonna spoof all the other ones. They didn't, which is kind of good because after Scary Movie 5, I'm glad a lot of movies get spoofed a lot.
But yeah.
But I mean, everybody who watches Lethal Weapon loves this movie.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason. This is, I think this is like either the first or one of many ones that director Richard Donner did. It began the whole action flick at Christmas motif, which would be continued with Die Hard. And
another one that's not really an action movie. It's kind of like a horror movie, which I really don't want to call a horror movie. It's more of a thriller. Is Gremlins.
That one, yeah, that one's many people consider that like a legit Christmas movie, like something you watch at Christmas. No joke.
I do.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, the movie, most importantly, began the whole. Pretty much laid out the blueprint for a good buddy movie. I saw a lot of it when we saw Two Guns a while back too.
Yep.
So definitely go out and see it. Like every time I see it. Yeah, usually it's on a day off and I have to watch all 4 movies. It's a very, very good film.
I've never been sucked into that where I have to watch all 4 movies. I'm a TV freak where if, like a TV series comes on and like I have like I just bought the Supernatural Season 8, which is going to be something I'm going to be stuck in front of my TV all weekend watching.
Yeah.
It's not really being stuck in front of my TV, it's something I really enjoy doing. I'm like a movie addict, so I kind of have an understanding of what crack addicts are. I can't stop until I'm all done, then when I'm all done I want more. I just use my eyes, not my nose.
It always knows. No.
I was going to read that Not cartoony though. I
Hmm.
don't know if you've ever seen that Family Guy episode.
No, I did not.
Anyways,
Anyway,
so next week,
next week is it Monster?
are we doing monster or are we doing favorites?
No, favorites is the week after.
Okay.
All right.
So next week we're gonna do 2 different types of monsters.
Indeed. We're going to actually be doing monster flicks. I will be picking, of course, my favorite movie monster. We're going classic Gaijin, folks. I'm picking my favorite Godzilla in my favorite Godzilla flick, Final Wars.
Which is a great one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna do another Godzilla movie, but I wanted to spice up a little bit
Right.
and go with a lesser known hero. And I think this character is just hilarious, you know. And they try to make it like the new Godzilla type creature. His name is Gamera.
Ah.
And a lot of people know who Gamera is.
He is really neat.
It's a turtle.
He's full of turtle meat.
And he like would pull his legs into the shell and he could like propel himself with rockets.
He's spinning the air.
Yeah, you know, and they actually thought that this was gonna be like the new thing to compete with Godzilla, and it's just so not.
Oh, that,
It's like like doing a spin-off of Mothra would be like to compete with Godzilla. It just can't work.
well, I have a lesser known fact here. Did you know that Gamera, that the movie I believe you're thinking of is not the first instance of Gamera? He's just as old. He's almost as old as Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Except they tried to, in time, they tried to make him more kid friendly, which kind of killed.
Well,
the
they
character.
did with Godzilla too. I mean, Godzilla vs. Smog Monster is actually a movie public service announcement of the pollution in the air.
Save the Earth. The outside.
You know, and then of course I can't say that they've ever used an American version of Gamera where they destroyed it.
Mm.
Thank you, Matthew Broderick, for ruining one of my childhood heroes.
I still have my fingers crossed for the Godzilla coming out.
That'd be like, you know what they should do? They should redo Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And instead of having Matthew Broderick, put Godzilla in there.
He's trying to outrun Godzilla.
No, just have Godzilla as Matthew Broderick's character. Some dude in a Godzilla costume. See how well that works out for you.
That'd make the parade scene a little more interesting, I guess. Anyway, folks, that'll be next week, which is where we'll see ya. Take care, guys.